Okay, very good. Okay. Dengaklo, Dolnabamak, Chuyudgin Suzuk. I've just invited our ancestors to join us in this session. Today, we're talking about 13 moons and what 13 moons means to our Wolastoqey culture. A perfect example is starting with my name. I'm named after one of the 13 moons. And my traditional name is Ablasamwez, and Ablasamwez means moon of the whirling wind. It's the moon between solstice and the middle of January. And what that teaches me is about movement, and never being stagnant. And so for me, the lesson just in that and seeing my name is that I can't stay put and let my language disappear. I can't stay put and let our traditional knowledge disappear. I can't stand still and allow, our food security to be at risk, because everything seems to be changing. And so my name reminds me that I have a responsibility to stir up, the council fires, to make sure that leadership, communities, this generation, and future generations have the skills, the knowledge to be able to keep stirring that pot to make sure there's always movement in our culture. So I'll start with that. And the first moon that I want to talk about is our first moon is actually at solstice time through that time, because it's Kchigizos, the long moon, it's called. And Kchi is sacredness, and Gizos is like an orbit, like the sun. But in our what's really important to know about the moons and why 13 is it has to do with 28-day cycles of a woman's moon time. So it's Grandmother Moon who takes care of the tides, and Grandmother Moon who takes care of the women's cycles, so that we will be life givers. And so she gifts us when we're in puberty with our first moon time, and to let us know that we are the blood of life, that we are going to be life givers, and we are going to be expected to prepare for that new life that we're going to give birth to. So there's a lot of responsibilities. So we have lots of ceremonies. One of the ceremonies that's really important when we do moon ceremonies, there's one that's called the full moon ceremony. And the full moon ceremony is just acknowledging every full moon that we get as a cycle. The one that I do more is the new moon. So every time the new moon comes, we do a ceremony where we first of all ask for forgiveness. So usually it's by the water, or if it's by a council fire, or it's in the woods, or sometimes we have to do it inside. But whenever we do, we have all of our elements. We always have water. We always have fire, whether it's a candle or a sacred fire outside. We always have our sacred items, our shakers, our drums, our tobacco, our winged ones, and the moccasins, which is a gift from the four-leggeds. So we have all of these, and of course the smudging things that we smudge with. When we have those, we ask for forgiveness for what we've done from one moon to the next. So if the moon before the first moon was a tough one, then we have to say, forgive me for the procrastination of last month. Forgive me for being angry at my coworkers last month. Forgive me for not asking for forgiveness when I spoke out of turn in front of an elder, and those are all code of ethics. And when we break those code of ethics, we can't just walk away thinking they'll be forgotten, because everything we do to creation leaves an imprint, whether it's a good one or a bad one. So we always have to address every action we take each part of the day, because that's our responsibility as earth walkers. So in this new moon ceremony, we will have a circle. Everybody will have tobacco, and they'll put it in their left hand, and they'll put it to the top of their heads and say, my thinking last month was different. I wasn't thinking about worrying about others. I was kind of selfish. So forgive me for that. Then you bring it to your eyes. I didn't realize the beauty. I complained last month because I saw snowbanks that I couldn't climb over. And so I complained. I asked for an apology for that. I didn't honor, what I saw. I didn't honor, my elders. I didn't get to listen to their knowledge. I instead wasted my time by listening to music and, things on TV, etc. And I made that my world instead of my real world, which are listening to my elders, listening to creation. I apologize for that. And then we go on with the smell, like what medicines did you introduce yourself to? And by medicines, I mean, did you at least do a sweetgrass ceremony? Did you use sage? Did you use cedar? Did you use red willow tobacco? Did you use bear root? Did you use kapal? Those are all medicines with scents, and so that's what we have to acknowledge when we honor the gift of smell. But even it just occurred to me, one of the ceremonies that I remember as a child by my grandparents was before we went to bed, and when we woke up in the mornings to greet our grandparents. And I was really lucky because I was always greeted with open arms in the morning to be hugged. And I was also hugged before I went to sleep. But one of the things my grandparents always did was they would smell the top of our heads. So they would just, I remember my grandfather saying, "Come here, honey bunch," and he would just go, and he would smell right there at where the soft spot is. And then, "Okay, you're going to be okay today." Or go to sleep and open that space up for your dream space, because my grandmother was the one that women went to, community members went to in Tobic to interpret their dreams. So she would always kiss the top and invite good dreams, And so it just now came to me. I'd forgotten about that. But that's how sacred smelling is. So even now, I think we do that with our newborn babies. We just go, love the smell of newborn babies, and dads will go, oh, love the smell of my new car, and stuff. So there's importance to what smell does for us. We tell the new moon that the last moon, we used words that hurt. We used words that insulted. We gossiped. We wasted an opportunity to praise. So we promised the new moon, I'm not going to do that this moon. I'm going to promise to be a different person this moon and let go of those other burdens that I'm carrying, so that I don't carry one burden from one moon to the next. We also, we think about what did I accomplish last month? How many things did I write? When I was working on my Facebook or writing on my, emails, did I achieve something? Did I accomplish something, that's positive and not just, mundane things? Did I create something? Did I bake something? Did I bead something? Did I pick medicine? Did I reach out to someone who needed help? So it's really important that's why we bless our hands, so that we tell the new moon that last month I did this, and this month I'm going to do this. Or last month I didn't get to do this, but this month I promised to visit an elder or go to the hospital and see if there's anybody from my community that could use some cheering up. So that's what your hands are important for. When you think about elders, and I talked about food security, it's important that we bring traditional foods to our elders. Like, it's an honor to know how to make traditional bread so that I can take it to an elder who hasn't tasted it in a long time, or corn soup, or right now it's fiddlehead, and one of the traditions for fiddleheading in the spring is to make sure that before you eat your share, you have to take the first ones you pick to the elders and make sure all the elders have tasted it before you taste it. Then it's your turn. So that's what we do with our hands. We bring, we think about our hearts. Was your heart broken this last moon? Was there a relationship breakup? Was there a loss in the family? Was your heart challenged to feel pain? And how did you deal with it? Did you cover it up with alcohol? Did you cover it up with painkillers? Because we can't handle pain well. We're taught that every moon that comes, you have the opportunity to let go of those burdens and those pains by asking, the new moon to help you in your earth walk, so that you walk in balance. You walk in accepting pain in the same way you accept joy. I always tell people when they're going through mourning or their loss of a loved one, I always say, it's okay to hurt, because when you hurt, it's real love. When you cover up that hurt, it's as if you don't want to hurt for anybody. And so it's okay, to feel that hurt and not cover it up, so that you can let that person know that you're mourning for. I love you so much that I'm even willing to hurt for you. And right now I'm hurting because you're not in my life physically, but you're in my life spiritually. So that's one of the balances that we do. So it's really important to, what we say, take care of heart. Heart medicine is kindness. Heart medicine is dealing with the pain in safe ways, and not in ways that cover up that pain, because eventually if you keep covering up everything that happens to you, then eventually you're not going to be able to have love in your heart, because it's so filled with all the pain that you've experienced, because you haven't learned how to release it through ceremony